What's good, everybody? It's your boy back with another reaction video. I will be reacting to three creepy true horror stories. Watch until the end. I don't remember whose website this is. Whose YouTube page this is from. It might be Mr. Nightmares. It might be Nightmare Files. I'm not sure, but if it's Nightmare Files, we'll see it when I start it. But anyway, let's just get into it. Alright, here we
And I rushed to the back
Okay,
door and
Nightmare
quietly
Files.
yelled for the dogs to come in. They ran in and I herded them to the front room. Then I saw the mailbox slot open.
Nightmare Files. Sound like a beat a friend of mine made like back in 2009. It's very ominous.
My name is
beat.
Gordon. I'm 22 years old.
Oh,
But
a
the
young
story
buck.
happened when I was 10.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes place in Florida. Me, my 6-year-old brother, and parents were on our way to
For
Disney
some reason, I
World
thought you were gonna
for
say
the
me
weekend.
myself.
It was our first time driving there, and we got a bit lost. We had to leave in the afternoon, and it was quite a long drive from where we lived. And like I said, we got a bit lost.
I love night driving.
It was dark outside. We had to drive through the country lanes, but it wasn't just dark. It was basically pitch black because there were no street lamps whatsoever. The country roads we were driving through were quite creepy. I know me and my brother were freaked out. And to be honest, I think my parents were too.
Yeah,
we had been driving for a while and I had to pee very bad. I know we could pull over, but I really didn't want to because it was scary as hell out there. But unfortunately, I couldn't hold it anymore, so I asked my dad to pull over. I got outside and I walked over to some nearby bushes, which led into a forest. It was pretty cold outside and I was shivering. Like I said, it was pitch black, but I could see a little bit because our car's headlights were on. I went to do my business when I heard a branch snap.
Probably possum. Yeah, right.
I looked up towards the woods and I saw some kind of light.
Oh, never mind.
It was a lantern. I looked closer and it was floating up, and then I saw it wasn't floating. Someone was picking it up. And the lantern light revealed a face I would never forget. It was a man who looked to be in his late 40s. He had gray beard, and he was smiling with his eyes wide open. He had crooked yellow teeth. I stood there in shock with tears in my eyes. He then motioned with his finger for me to come toward him. I pulled up my pants and ran back to my car. My mom said to me, "Are you okay, sweetie?" I just smiled and said,
pulled up his pants. He's taking a shit.
We continued driving. I didn't say anything to anyone about what I saw, and I still had to pee, but what was on my mind was that man I just saw. We finally arrived, and I was able to use the bathroom.
10 years old.
Me and my brother were and still are close. So that night, while we were laying in our beds, I told him what I saw. And to my surprise, he didn't seem that freaked out when I told him. He looked down with a worried look on his face. Then he told me something he saw in the car while we were pulled over. He was looking outside of his window, which were farm fields. He said he saw what looked to be a family of 4 standing in the middle of a field, who were also holding lanterns. He then asked our mom who were those people. And her response was, "What people? There's no one out there."
Because they're
at that point, that's when I got back in the car. That night, and many nights after, me and my brother have discussed what we saw, and we didn't know if it was real or imagination. I personally still believe to this day what I saw was real. This story still haunts me and gives me chills every time I think of it. What do you think?
I think you just had to pee really bad, and the darkness was playing tricks on you. Mind playing tricks on my damn.
was in high school about 10 years ago. I was home alone while my mom went to pick up my brother. And before my mom left, she told me to bring the dogs in. Now we had two beagles, one that was friendly but barked loud, and an older one that we had gotten from a shelter that was extremely protective and was not afraid to show his teeth. I usually ignored her and left them outside for a bit. I was in the back part of the house and was on a computer when I heard a noise. I walked to our front room and saw a young guy near the front door looking inside my house. I stood slightly out of sight and saw him walk back and forth between our window and then back to the door. And then he tried opening the door. Then he literally threw himself against the door. Immediately, my blood went cold and I rushed to the back door and quietly yelled for the dogs to come in. They ran in and I herded them to the front room. Then I saw the mailbox slot open.
Oh boy.
I saw his eyes. He was looking right at me.
Wow.
Right away, my older beagle got on the defense and growled. It was more like, I'm gonna bite you type of growl, while the other one barked. I got my phone and called my mom and begged her to come back home, in which she did with my brother. They looked around and saw no other signs of entry. I triple check every door now, and even though those two dogs have passed away, I keep our current dog near me when I'm home alone. That was one of the scariest experiences I ever had in my life.
You could tell that dude didn't get. He must have been a junkie or something. Only people I know that try to break in people's houses when they see someone still in there is junkies.
I'm a 21-year-old
somebody who has a
woman,
mental illness or something.
And when I was 5 years old, I could remember a situation happening. Then when I was a little older, I figured out that it could have gone very bad. My street was full of kids and our parents all knew each other. Every weekend, someone would have a sleepover. One Friday night, we all begged our parents to stay the night at Lisa's house. She was 6 years old at the time and lived 2 houses down from me. We were all outside, and once our parents said yes, we all went to our houses, bathed, grabbed blankets, and went to Lisa's house. After our parents dropped us off, Lisa's mother made everyone popcorn while we watched movies in Lisa's bedroom. We played and watched TV for hours. Then we all fell asleep. In the middle of the night, I woke up to Lisa's bedroom door open,
don't even have curtains.
While all of us girls were sleeping on the floor on top of blankets.
Maybe you have blinds.
When I turned toward the light that was outside of the open door, I saw Lisa's dad in the doorway looking at us.
Oh boy, here we go.
In my 5-year-old mind, I thought he was just checking on us. So I went back to sleep. After being asleep for a bit, I wake up again, and it's her door opening. It's her dad again. He's standing in the doorway looking at us with the camera. I thought it was weird, because he had his shirt off also.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't let him know that I was awoke. When he walked away from the door, I waited a few minutes and ran home. I knocked on my big sister's window, which was downstairs, and she let me in. I told my parents, and they never let me back over there again. A few years later, Lisa's father was arrested for trying to kidnap a little girl who was outside riding her bike near her house. Every time I think of that night at Lisa's house and what he was caught for, I cringe because who knows what he was thinking and what he wanted to do.
I can tell you what he was thinking.
I'm glad he got caught. And know the kids got
disgusting shit. They're 5-year-olds.
Robin, this next story, every parent with little kids has to watch this.
You got that right, George. A 7-year-old left alone for just a moment. Her mother was just a couple of aisles over in Walmart, and she was almost abducted.
Wow.
ABC's Youngji Denise joined
Why you
us
stop?
live from Atlanta this morning, and you heard what George said. Parents are going to be watching this with great interest.
It happened so fast. You can see the man grab 7-year-old Brittany Baxter, trying to carry her out of the Walmart toy aisle.
Of course it's Walmart.
It was just about 24 hours ago when Brittany, out sick from school, was shopping with her mom, who stepped away to grab some fruit, leaving her daughter to play in the toy aisle. That's when store cameras captured this man snatching Brittany, but the second grader put up a fight.
I was
Oh, did she kick him in his
kicking
dick?
him, trying to get away. He put his hand over my mouth.
Police say this is security video of a kidnapping suspect in action. A woman walked by a 4-year-old boy, just picked him up and carried him out of a McDonald's restaurant. Fortunately, she didn't get very far.
A man grabbing a 13-year-old girl in Florida, dragging her through a store. Her mother fighting back, as you can see.
This dude is...
ABC's Eva
Oh,
Pilgrim
he is
here with
crazy.
more on those terrifying moments. Good morning, Eva.
Good morning,
Like,
Robin.
he
This morning,
just-
that
he like,
Florida
"I'ma
mom
get her
is being
and
credited for
pull her."
saving her daughter as a stranger tried to take her from a store.
I'd kill this
Video showing
motherfucker.
the mom doing everything possible to keep the would-be kidnapper from getting her 13-year-old.
I'd have killed that. I'd have killed all of them. Take, like, my kid. Shit. You about to get, you know what I'm saying? You can just feel like he'll come around from behind you and you get German suplex. you about to, you bout. And it's not even you are about to, you bout to die. That woman, in that second part, that woman picked up that kid just like it's her kid just walked out. It's almost like she's done that before. Or she knew not to be. I just picked the kid, and the kids, the kid was 4. Kid is like, I don't know. I remember that. I think that happened. I was like 4 or 5 then, around that age. Maybe I was 6. It was around that age. And I was in Sears with my mom. And some random woman just grabbed my hand. And the thing was, I saw her, but she wasn't. Her kid was standing like near me, and we was looking at some toys, and she just reached back. She just reached back and grabbed me. Her son had moved. I think it was a white kid, if I remember correctly. He had moved and went in a completely different. I just walked away, and you know, if you know black people, you know, if you in the aisle and your mother or father tell you you don't leave this aisle. You didn't leave that aisle. They like stay in the aisle I'm in. Like they may let you walk a little bit, you know, but they were like, don't go to the end of the aisles, and don't leave the aisle. And anyway, this woman, she just reached back, cause she was talking with some person. I don't know who the one was, and she grabbed my arm. she grabbed my wrist. I remember she was kind of like pulling me, and I was like, and I kind of like looked at her like. And then she felt there was resistance, because I was like, the hell? And she looked back, and she saw me, she was like, she looked like, she's like, oh, like, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. She's like, where's my, she's like, you see my son? I said, he went in the other aisle. And she started calling his name. I don't remember what his name was, but I called his name. And she's like, what did I tell you about leaving? Oh, I guess white people do that too. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, let go of me. So my mother was right there, so I wasn't like, start screaming at them like that, but. I remember, I think I want to say I might have been 11. And I was walking around my grandmother's neighborhood. It was with my cousins. And somebody pulled up next to us. Somebody pulled up next to my cousin. I had actually walked kind of down the street, and he's about 4 years younger than I am. Almost 4 years younger than I am. And somebody was asking like to get in a car. I remember because he was standing there, on a curb, and the car had stopped, and he was talking. Somebody was talking. I couldn't see whether it was a man or a woman, but they were talking to him, and cars could park on the street there, so they're up against the curb, parallel park. So it was 2 cars like this, and there was space, in between the cars. The car had pulled up in the street, up close to the space, and was talking to my cousin. I was like, hell, they talking, because I didn't know who that car was. Didn't know who that was. I couldn't see their face because they were talking. First they were talking like in the car, and then all of a sudden they put their arm out and it was like talking to him. And I don't know if they were trying to give him something. I'm not sure, but I remember calling his name, and I was like, "Get over here!" And he gave walk back, and then they just pulled it. They didn't even pull off fast. They just slowly drove off because it was like I think the speed limit was like, well, at the time it was like 25. I think they lowered it now because yeah, it's a tight road and the kids just run across the street. Like people do that in the cities I've noticed, but in Chicago, people adults do it too. But kids, they just walk on the fucking street. They don't even look. And even when they hear you slam on brakes, and you like looking at it, they just keep walking like I got the right of way or something. Like, I almost hit your dumb ass. Like you didn't even look both ways or nothing. Like I had to save my cousin once like that in the street. The same cousin I'm talking about. Walking across down the street, not looking, and I had to grab it. I had to run across the street and grab it. I almost got nicked by the car. It hit me. The car, the front of the car hit me. The side mirror like caught me like here when it drove by. It was like more like a graze, but it looked like a bruise like here, going like back here. And I was starting yelling like, "You dumbass!" I ain't even cursed, but I just started cursing. And I think I was like around the same age, maybe been a little bit. I was like, because I moved when I was 12, so I might have been 12. But I was, yeah, you gotta be careful. You gotta watch your kids. Like, the people out here, there's some predators out here, and they looking for somebody to slip up. The moment you slip up, they'll snatch your kid. Hell, you an adult. People want to kidnap your ass, they'll snatch your ass too. Cause shit, I'm a big dude, but I'm a human being. I ain't invincible, and I'm always wary of anybody inviting me somewhere or anything. Like I don't care, cause I've heard guys say they've been robbed. Especially women might invite them somewhere. Like, oh, you come back to my place or something. As soon as they get outside, or they walk, oh, my car's over here or something, and then some dudes come out and jack them, or hopefully it's not like somebody trying to rape you, and she take you to her place, and then you go in there, and some dudes walk out the damn room, some shit, and you stuck, now you gotta fight for your life. But that's crazy. That first one, that dude must have been a crackhead, because he just like opened the thing and just like looking at him, because they're not thinking logically, because they probably high, or they're drunk, or they homeless and have some type of mental condition. But some of these stories I hear with people, they know somebody, they try to beat down the door, and I give them the benefit of the doubt, say maybe they don't know someone's home. Nah, they know the person's home. And they still trying to beat down. They're like, oh, I'm getting in here. Like, who? Like, why would you want? If you a thief like that, you would think you would watch the house to know when the person leaves, and then try to break in. Why would you try to break in when they're there, which lowers your success rate of getting in the house undetected. And even if you get in the house, this person probably gonna hear you. At least you know how to pick a lock, and you don't make any noise whatsoever. But if you can't do what you need to do to get the stuff, you're gonna make some type of noise. And now this person call you, you gotta break in, and then if you try to do something to this person who owns the house or whatever, now you get assault and battery or whatever, or you accidentally kill this person, or unless you're doing it intentionally because you're a fucking lunatic. Then you get murder. Up to like, cause then they probably gonna say you broke in there and you intentionally killed this person. You probably didn't break in there specifically to kill this person. So they might try to get you a manslaughter, but you didn't just run. You went after this person. So anyway, hope y'all enjoyed my reaction. And if you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Be sure to subscribe if you're new there. Hit that bell. You want to be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below, whatever you feel. Share this video. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.